All right. Good evening, everyone. really wasn't expecting to come on this evening, but here we are. So today is a day that I'm not totally shocked that we see thunderstorms. I talked about that this morning in my weather update. And here we are. So I like to pop on when we have mornings around North Texas, and we do have one morning currently. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for the very southern part of Grayson County, and the northern part of Collin County. And this storm is warned for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Not really going to be any hail with this, most likely. Even if there was, it probably wouldn't survive the trip to the ground since it's so hot. It'd probably melt all the way down. So this is nothing to be terribly concerned about. We'll put this in motion real quick. And generally moving to the south, about 5 miles an hour. And you can see these last couple of scans, it's actually gotten a little bit stronger there at the end. Definitely some lightning there. Expanding out east to west. And it's not moving very fast, like I said, about 5 miles an hour. So if you're under this, you can expect a lot of stormy weather. Typically with these pulse-type thunderstorms, they don't really do a whole lot. They don't typically reach severe levels, but it was so hot today. And you just get that convective temperature reached in the atmosphere, and if you notice today, the dew points, it was dry compared to what it normally is this time of year, and so it wasn't overly humid, and so you get that dry air. We call it temperature dew point separation, and so the greater that is, then when you do see a thunderstorm form, it's typically a higher based. The base of the thunderstorm is higher up in the atmosphere, and then so that rain that falls out of that has a long way to go to get to the ground, and then of course that causes evaporative cooling, and then that's what you get typically you get the wind gust out of it, and in some cases they could be pretty strong. Looking at weather spotter reports, it's kind of early. They just issued a warning about 15 minutes ago. I haven't seen any storm spotter reports yet, but I'm sure we'll get some if they're out there. So I would say that, if you live in McKinney, anywhere along Highway 380, really from Princeton to Prosper, if you will, just watch out for this. Like I said, it's nothing to be overly concerned about. If you're outside, then definitely take shelter. That's for sure. Don't want to be outside. Lightning is a much bigger threat here than anything else. Although, like I said, the wind is, can be crazy. That's for sure. Like I said, I haven't seen any reports. So, like I said, this storm, it's going to pulse up and down some. It is. Hello, Mr. Phillips. How are you, sir? It's going to pulse up and down a little bit, but right now it's kind of doing pretty good for a good old summertime thunderstorm. Now, as I talked about this morning, these are not just your typical pop-up thunderstorms, because if they were, you would have saw a lot more of them today. But most of the day didn't really have a lot of clouds at all. And then as we got above 100, the temperature that it took to make clouds form in this sinking air was reached. That's why you start seeing these cumulus. And then now, of course, they've grown into thunderstorms. And, of course, one storm, I guess you could say, is severe. So I don't know if they've updated this yet or not. They have. Nothing's changed. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. About near Van Alstyne, 10 miles north of McKinney, moving south at 5. Like I said, the hail is not really going to be an issue. Not to say that you couldn't see a little bitty pea-sized hail or something like that, but the wind is a much greater concern between the two, and lightning if you're outside. So you can see these storms have put out quite the impressive outflow boundary from these cluster of storms over here, and put this in motion. If you live in the southern part of Denton County, northern part of Tarrant County, you will see this outflow pretty quickly. Not real sure what the temperatures are behind it. I mean, it's definitely cooler, but not sure what the temperatures are behind it. But it'll be cooler than it has been, I'll put it that way. And that's the general trend for the rest of the week, tomorrow and into the weekend. We are going to see more, hopefully, more showers and thunderstorms form with this cool front moving out of Oklahoma. number one. And number two, we're going to have a small disturbance move overhead starting tomorrow into Saturday and maybe part of Sunday morning, and then maybe a brief lull. And then we could see some overnight complexes Sunday night at Oklahoma Sunday night, and also again Monday night. A little far away to know exactly how that's going to play out, but at least there's a chance to see those shower thunderstorms beyond tonight. So, this the summer itself. Hello, AJ. Yes, I'm looking forward to the cold front too. Well, cold front and rain. And I'll tell everybody too that as is typical with. Oh, that's not going to work. Was typical with these setups. Not everybody's going to see the rain. I'll just go ahead and tell you that now. But some of us will, and just like tonight, if you live in the northern part of Collin County, you're seeing that. So again, we'll put this in motion, and the cold front's not a bad one for this time of year. Oklahoma City, for example, they were in the upper 80s for highs today, so that would have felt really good compared to today. DFW hit 104, I think is what their high temperature ended up being. The good news is we won't see 104 tomorrow. We will see probably mid to upper 90s, I would guess. Now it could be lower than that, cooler than that, I should say, if we get some more rain than we think, or the rain's more numerous than just scattered or isolated. And of course, even if you don't see rain at your particular place, the clouds could cool you off some. So that's definitely good news. But anyway, so you can see the radar presentation. You see that impressive outflow boundary. That is for sure. As a matter of fact, let's zoom in here. I think we may be getting an outflow boundary intersection. Let's put this part in motion. I wasn't really looking at that earlier. Let's see. Yeah, maybe. Maybe a little bit right here. So I wouldn't be shocked if you see some storm development in that intersection area. So that would be, southern Wise County, northern Parker County. Maybe not. They don't. The merging of outflow patterns doesn't always form thunderstorms, but in this hot environment, it definitely could. I don't know if I can pull my. I think I can pull my weather station up here. Let's try this real quick. Let's see. Do this. There it is. All right. So you can see this at my house, 96, and it is 8:07. So that is hot for this time of year. Hey, Kara, how are you? Hello, Miss Loza, how are you? Yes, I agree with Paula. I'll take any kind of rain we can get. Miss Loza's from the mountains, and boy, yes, if you're from the mountains, the heat does not agree with you. That is for sure. Those of y'all who follow me on social media know that we were in Colorado a couple weeks ago in Steamboat Springs and Rocky Mountain National Park, and yes, it was nice when you woke up and it was 45 degrees in the morning and about 80 with no humidity for a high. Anyway, I did want to show this because this is a weather station at my house. At my house, we got up to 104.7 today. Not a lot of wind today, so there was no relief with the wind, and so that definitely, even though we didn't have much humidity, you did not get any kind of relief from the wind like sometimes we do. All right, so let's go back to the radar here and see what we got. All right, so let me see. Let me see if we got any spotter reports that have come in. No, like I said, the weather service did continue the warning until 8:15, which we're about 5 minutes away. So I don't know that. I don't know if they'll extend it. I haven't seen anything that would make me think they might. They do tend to like to have ground reports when they want to extend something, but I have not seen anything. Let's do this. Let's zoom in a little bit more on this storm. All right, so got a little purple here. Doesn't mean that's hail reaching the ground, but probably some hail aloft. And remember, like I always say, this is taken from the weather radar site in Fort Worth, and so this is looking 4,000 feet up into the storm, not at the surface. But if we look at the velocity layer. And by the way, typically we'll show this when we're looking for rotation. Obviously, there's no concern about that. But what we do like to do is we like to look at velocity to see if we can see any downburst. And that is, hello, Mr. Knowles. That's what we look for in these type storms. We look for, downburst type winds. And I say that, and I don't really take much credence into that, but if this was a different type of storm day setup, that would be a little more concerning. But I don't think that's the case. But it's interesting to look at. All right, so we'll go back to reflectivity here. So like I said, if you're under this cell, I mean, it's probably pouring pretty good around maybe just north of Weston, just southwest of Van Alstyne, just northeast of Salina. So if you do live out that way, I should say, that just don't be outside. And like I said, lightning's a killer, so you don't want to be outside. And if you never heard the expression "when thunder roars, go indoors," then it may sound corny, but it is really true. If you hear thunder roar, go indoors, because you just don't want to mess around with that. All right, so let's put this in motion here real quick. Like I said, I don't know if they're going to extend the warning or not. Like I said, it's going to be going on for another 4 minutes, so we shall know soon enough. If, like I said, so it's drifting to the south, just like I said, about 5 miles an hour. And nobody wants the severe stuff, but yeah, if you live in my and some other friends' neck of the woods, then yeah, come on down here. I don't want the severe part, but we'll definitely take the rain if we could get it. Okay, so just got our first storm report that I've seen. Had wind damage at an RV park in Grayson County, in Gunter. So, unfortunately, RVs and mobile homes and manufactured homes are very vulnerable to these type of wind events. So, yeah, definitely not a place you want to be when we have these strong winds. And like I said, if you missed it earlier, it's so hot today. It's 104 at my house. If you round up 105, it's 104 at DFW, I believe. And this is hot air, and then it's not very humid, so you have this drier air between the storms and the ground, and that rain, that cold rain, that cool rain that falls through that dry, hot air through physics. It creates evaporative cooling, and that just really generates the wind. Excuse me, because it's taking that momentum down to the surface and going through everything and hitting the ground. Excuse me. And it'll cause those gusty winds, sometimes microbursts. We definitely don't want to see that. If you put this in motion, I would be curious to see. I think this storm is generating out. I mean, these storms over here are definitely generating outflow. So if you're in Louisville, you probably already seen it. If you're going to DFW for some reason, then it's definitely going to change things for you if you're out there. Let's see. So I would say this storm has been around a while, and so you see this outflow coming from this, and then this storm is not as old as this storm is. So, however, if it keeps up, I wouldn't be surprised to see another outflow come this way. So, if you live in this, anywhere south of Highway 380 in Collin County, outflows are through most of Denton County already. And then northern Dallas County, northern Rockwall County, down to Rockwall. It's not as pronounced as this outflow boundary is, but you could definitely see some gusty wind. Nothing like 60 miles an hour, but you can definitely see some gusty winds with those outflows if they kind of pick up steam a little bit. And again, not the severe part of it, but we might with these outflows, we might start to see some thunderstorm development right here. Nothing, not guaranteed, no doubt about that, but at least there's a chance. If nothing else, it'll be a little cooler. All right, so we are about a minute away from the weather service about to decide what to do. Okay, they are going to continue this warning for Collin County. So should see this box updated here in just a second, and then once we get it updated, then kind of get an idea of what we can expect. If I had to guess, probably gonna see something like this. I don't think it's yep. There's my weather radio going off, and so I would expect to be another in area a smaller type warning than you traditionally see. Let me see what they say. Yeah, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts is what they're warning it for. This particular warning will be in effect until 9 p.m. They'll update the box here in just a second. And let's get back here. So not a lot has changed. As far as the storm itself, it's still obviously hanging in there, waiting for that box to update. While we're doing that, the weather observation at the Denton Airport down to down to a cool 91 degrees, but that's you can the outflow's already gone through that area. So plus they're not too far away from that storm, so they'll probably get some cool air from that storm. So like I said, it's not going to drop into the 60s or anything like that, but it is. It'll be a little cooler than it has been most of the day, that's for sure. All right, so this box should update any moment. Actually, while it's doing that, let's see. Well, as a matter of fact, unless I missed it, unless I just literally didn't change it. Okay, no, that hasn't changed yet. I'm going to go to a different radar here real quick. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Live streaming tonight on Facebook, YouTube, and X. So appreciate a like and a follow. If you haven't done that already, appreciate that. All right, so let's try this. And if you have a question, hit me up in the chat. That's what the chat's for. All right. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, like I said, this is till 9 o'clock, and like I said, it really hasn't changed much at all as far as what they're warning it for, which is 60-mile-an-hour wind goes. So, yeah. I'm going to switch to this radar, see if that would be a little bit better. Well, that's not going to work. Let's see. Yeah, let me do that. Well, that is frustrating. I don't know why. There we go. All right. So again, it's a little bit different view of the storm from a different radar. And I know my tools on this one's a little different. There we go. So again, you can see this outflow from these storms. So this is Fairview, Lowry Crossing, Lake Levon, at least the northern half of it. So again, if you live in northern Dallas County, southern Collin County, Allen, Lucas, Parker, Murphy, Wiley, Saxe, Plano, you'll probably see this outflow boundary move too. It's not near as impressive as the one to its west, but again, and we'll put this one in motion here. Let's see what we got. Yeah, it's not, and as I mentioned, if you're just joining us, storm's not moving very fast, moving about 5 miles an hour, and but although it's building a little bit to the southeast, and you can see that in the last couple of radar scans. This part's kind of building. The original core was right here. Let's change this color. Red's a little much for this. Okay, there we go. So you have that original core here, but then you have, which is typical for these type storms. you have these, it'll drift another direction. It'll add the outflow from that storm will form another core. Uh, Probably what you're seeing right there is maybe another core. And as we do sometimes see with these thunderstorms, if this core becomes dominant, then this one will fade away pretty quick. Not saying it's going to happen, but in this case, but it could. So again, the orangish shading is the area of the severe thunderstorm warning until 9 p.m. All right, let's see. Don't see anything else in the chat at the moment. Don't see anything on YouTube at the moment. All right. So let's go back to the other radar. Yeah, let's do this. All right, let's put this one in motion. And like I said, these storms within have different cores within them. These cores will pop up and down, and so not unusual. Typically, it doesn't get to severe levels with this type of setup, but obviously it can. But it's nothing to be overly concerned about. But if you're outdoors, you definitely want to get indoors. That's for sure. All right, let's check some spotter reports here. They're going to do a flood. It's like the Weather Service is going to do a flood advisory for southern Fan and northern Hunt counties, and that's for these storms right here, not the one that are warned. Although if this storm continues to kind of sit there, I wouldn't be surprised if they did a flood advisory for that eventually. But you don't hog all that rain up there. Bring it down this way. Yeah, so again, the Weather Service is just concerned about microbursts with these storms, which again is very common when you have the ultra heat that we had today and these higher bases. That's not unusual at all, I should say. Yeah, so it's not too bad. So Sherman's 93, Bonham's 86. Montague is 87, so there's a little bit of cooler and not that far away. Some of those are rain cooled temperatures, that's for sure. Okay, so with that, don't see a whole lot to really talk about, to be honest with you. Again, if you're just joining us, I popped on real quick because we have a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Grayson County, northern Collin County until 9 p.m. So, as I mentioned earlier, if you live anywhere north of 380, then certainly not everybody north of 380 is going to see rain, but some of you could. If you do, it'll probably be on the stormy side. Not really expecting anything from a hail standpoint, not saying you couldn't get some pea-sized hail, but wind gusts are the main concern with this particular storm. And lightning, while not a severe weather criteria, lightning is definitely a hazard if you are outside. So you definitely want to stay indoors with these storms, not to be messed with in that sense. All right, so looking at the chats, don't see anything else, so I am about to sign off here. If I see something crazy happen, then I will come back on, but if not, we will call it a night. And hopefully the next 3 days, maybe 4 days if you count Monday, we'll see on and off chances for thunderstorms. And depending on the setup, like today, it's not out of the question that in the afternoon hours and early evening hours, the next couple of days, somewhere in North Texas, we could see some severe weather like we have today. But not in the traditional springtime sense, just more summertime pulse type thunderstorms that, if you're underneath it, as we've seen tonight, you can definitely get some winds, that's for sure. But with that, as always, I'm watching the weather so you don't have to. Hope everyone has a great evening. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.